Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talktopia Sessions, the place where you see all the musicians talk about things that they normally don't talk to otherwise, they're like very shy about.
Yeah,
But
for example, about their music.
and also their favorite food and like all kinds of things.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show, guys. Today we have a very special guest, as we always do every single week. Today it's Pranay.
And Pranay is a guitar specialist. You know what? Abhijit, when we're scrolling online, the usual stuff like food and things, gigs. But I came across Pranay's clip where he was playing the acoustic guitar, and I was like, wow. Like, I don't know, it was like a magical experience for me. And I actually DM'd him, bro, your music sounds so good, I could listen to it nonstop. And then I did a little digging on him, and I thought we should definitely get him here because he's one of the city's finest guitar session players. He's playing with a lot of people. He's done his music education from a bunch of places. And he's here to tell us about his experience of being the capital's one of the best, I think, acoustic guitar players.
And you're going to be a part of that experience very soon, right after this.
The Talktopia Sessions.
All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're with Pranay.
Thank you
Hi.
so much for having me. It's a really pleasure to be here, and it's a really wonderful space that you have here.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Elf Studios. Welcome to the Talktopia Sessions. We really are a fan of your work. And we have been doing a little snooping about your background and stuff like that. But instead of us just knowing it, we want the audience to know that as well. How you got into music in the first place. What were your first experiences of music?
So I got into music when I was about 9 years old. It was my parents who introduced me to music. They really believe in knowing how to play a musical instrument while you're going through your teenage years. They felt like it's very important to have a creative outlet. So my parents, they introduced me to the guitar. I started taking guitar lessons. There was a teacher who used to come at home and give lessons. Soon after, there was this guitar teacher, Ashley sir. He had a very big impact on me. I learned under him for about 2 years. But even within the household, there was always music going on. My father listens to a lot of music. So he introduced me to music like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Fleetwood Mac, a lot of the old classics.
Nice.
So we would always have that running in the house. And my mom is also a big lover of old Indian music like Lata Mangeshkar and all of those.
Oh, so you got a nice wide variety of different types of music, different genres, different worlds of music. Did your parents play any instruments as well?
No, they don't play any instruments. There are a lot of people in my mom's side that love to sing. So there's that kind of culture where at every family gathering, there would be like people who would want to play, dance, sing for each other. So that was there. But none of them play any instruments, but they're just big fans of music. And then I think I inherited that love for music through them.
That's nice. Did you have any embarrassing moments where your parents say, "Acha bete, ab baja ke dikhao" at a party or something like that?
That, of course.
Yeah.
There's loads of those.
But then you must have absolutely rocked the house then.
Yeah, and I mean, just it's always nice to see a young person getting into something like music, or it's generally quite encouraged. I'm grateful that it's encouraged in my family.
Absolutely. My parents weren't that much into performing music, I think, but we had a lot of Boney M and ABBA and and also Pankaj Udas, oddly enough. That for some reason that I was brought up with. But
That song was his, right? Like, Chitti aayi hai, aayi hai. I don't know. Sorry if it's not him. But
send
I think
your
it's him.
hate messages
But
to
I think
Ashish David at... Sorry.
But this is so cool, man. You had like the best childhood, like I can imagine. Like, both your dad was into Led Zepp, your mom was into like great Hindi stuff. And like,
Yeah,
did you have
best
any
of both
favorites? Or do you like remember something from that time which like was like, man, this is like so cool? Like any particular song or an album or an artist? Like,
That really inspired you, especially
Yeah.
with the guitar.
I think so. I think there was one, like looking back, I think there was one defining moment. So I would, of course, be a big fan of Jimmy Page and Angus Young
Oh, yes.
and all of those players. But he once sat me down in the living room and he came across Steve Vai himself for the first time. And he just saw it and it blew his mind and he wanted to share it with me. And I could not believe that the guitar could sound like that. Like it sounded like the guitar was whining, crying, it was just blazing. It was insane.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And of course we've got a friend of the studio and of the podcast, Kalyan Kumar, who I want to give a bit of a shout out to because his email address from the time I've known him
Yeah.
has been Vaiguru, VAI, and that is absolutely epic. So original Steve Vai fan, this one's for you, bro. So and how did your this inspiration from rock and classical, I mean, not classical Indian music, but, like old school Indian music. How did that translate into your, becoming, like actually moving on to the more folk side of acoustic guitar, like with the nylon strings, etc.? How did that evolution happen?
So the nylon strings came into my life quite recently, actually, about 3 years ago. I picked up the classical guitar. While I was studying at GMI, there was one instructor, João Betancourt. So he's from Brazil. And throughout my education at GMI, I used to take lessons from him. He was my harmony instructor. But during my last semester at GMI, he actually flew in for a semester in India. So I got to take in-person lessons from him. And I had never heard of Brazilian music. I didn't know what it was. But just knowing that he's there in town, I was like, might as well just see what it's like. I decided to take private lessons from him. And it was quite eye-opening. Like, he introduced me to a lot of Brazilian artists like Nicolas Krasik, Jobim, Yamandu Costa, and a lot of traditional Brazilian music as well, like Pixinguinha. So that's when I really decided to take up classical guitar. And this is one of the things that I play. I still play electric guitar, mostly for the different sessions and bands that I play in. But this classical guitar is something I really do for myself.
Oh, nice. So, and you've got a very special looking guitar here. I think it's a 7-string, as you'd mentioned earlier. So, what brand is this? Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
This is from Cremona. So they make primarily classical guitars of 6-string, but this one is 7-string. I got it because I really admire the work of Gabriel Santiago. So he's from Brazil. He plays Brazilian music, and he endorses this guitar. And I trust in his work, and he's a credible source. So I wanted to get my hands on this 7-string guitar. And 7-string guitar is traditionally played in Brazilian music. It's played in choro, where you would play a lot of the bass lines and also accompany with chords.
Nice, because I'm only familiar with 7-string guitars when it comes to Deftones and Meshuggah and stuff like that.
As a matter of fact, I think it's a popular belief amongst most music lovers that 7-string goes with metal and no other forms. So I was like kind of surprised when he pulled out a 7-string guitar. I was about asking, what does the 7-string do? But yeah, I didn't risk sounding like a fool. So yeah, now we know.
Very nice. And you guys will be listening to one of his songs very, very soon.
As a matter of fact, we can actually break into one right now.
Yeah, lovely.
So what's the first song that you're gonna perform for us?
There's this piece by this guitar player called Garoto, and it's called Lamento. It's called Sons de Carilhões.
Wow, can you see that again slowly?
Sons de Carilhões.
What does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the exact pronunciation of the exact literal meaning.
Okay.
But it's an instrumental piece by Garoto.
Lovely. All right.
Let's discover what it sounds like together.
Here we go.
And we are back with Pranay, having a fantastic time. That was a great performance, by the way. Thank you so much for it. We want to know what are the different bands in the city that you've performed with, all the different artists that you've collaborated with.
So I started playing in the scene about 4 years ago. So I started going to these jam sessions regularly at the Piano Man. So every Sunday we would get together, play jazz. And that's how I got to meet some of the musicians in the city. I started playing these one-off gigs where I would probably substitute for under the guitar player. And that's how I got in. After about 2 years in, one of the first bands that I got to be a part of was the Revisit project. Very grateful for that. I met the same musicians through those Piano Man jam sessions. But since then, I've also collaborated with. I also play in the band Dastan. So we have a project called Kabira Khada Bazaar Mein. So there's me and Amar Sukesh on guitars, and there's a whole. It's a very lovely lineup to be a part of. And I also collaborated with Rishabh Rikhiram on the sitar player.
Oh,
And
nice.
I do
Yeah.
sessions with other people in and out of
Okay.
Delhi.
So there's a popular belief that session players, can pretty much, they're like water. They can change shape, form, fit anything. But I believe the opposite. I believe that every session player chooses his sessions and shapes his sound and his identity over a period of time. Is there any kind of music that you have? Because being in Delhi, a place where there are like approximately 5,000 bands right now, by the way.
Really?
Yes. More
Jeez.
now. This was like 4 years back. Now
Okay.
probably more. So, there's obviously a choice that you have consciously made about choosing to be a part of certain things and not a part of certain things. So, what are the part of things that you have consciously chosen to take up as projects?
Right now, I'm in a space where I'm not very consciously selective of the projects that I take up. I take up projects all the way from ghazal sets to pop gigs to rock gigs. So, and I think playing in each of those sets also informs the other. It develops my playing style as a whole. It teaches me how to be adaptive to different situations. Of course, 10 years down the line, once I have more experience, I would be a bit more selective about the kind of gigs I take up. I would have a clearer direction of what I want to do myself as an artist. But right now, I'm more of an open sponge. I just want to play with more and more people and just build myself up.
But are there any red flags as far as a session player that, say, for example, when a musician is of a certain repertoire, he prefers people with a certain amount of experience, or maybe selective about genre. Like, certain people are very classist, and they will prefer not to do, say, Bollywood or wedding gigs. Everybody has, and there's no right or wrong. It could go either which way, right? So, do you have any things that you will avoid for whatever reasons?
Yeah, I have this small system. I picked it up from some video on YouTube, but it served me quite well. It's like this pyramid of three main. So I have the hang or the people that I play with on one corner, then it's the pay, and then the kind of music. So if any two of those things are like, okay, I really want to do this, I want to play with these people, I really love the music, but the pay is not very good, that's okay. If two of those things are lined up, then I'll probably say yes to the gig. If maybe the people are not, I don't really gel with them, but I love the music and I think the pay is good, then I think I'll go with it.
Oh, nice. That's
This
a pretty
is
good system,
fantastic, man.
It's a pretty good system.
Pay hang people. Pay people to hang people. Pay hanging people. No, but yeah, that's a clever way to remember it.
Yeah,
Pay
that's a pretty good.
hanging people. Kind of like, yeah.
Hang with people who pay you. Is the
Pay,
same version.
yeah. So if the pay is good, if the hang is good, or if the music is, that's fantastic. I love
Yeah.
that system, man.
Yeah, this is a pretty good formula to have for pretty much anything, really. I mean, pretty much anything that you're doing any kind of service you're providing as an
Yeah.
artist, whether you're a session vocalist, session musician, even as a voiceover artist, honestly. It depends on it. Those three things do matter, but 2 out of 3 isn't bad.
I'm kind of right now thinking, does it apply to dating as well?
Uh-oh. Now we're going into
Dangerous
uncharted
territory.
waters. Uncharted waters, my friend.
Sorry, we like to digress on this podcast a little bit. But coming back to the music, like how would you describe your individual sound and taste for music? Like how would you describe that?
I think it's a work in progress right now, and it shifts depending on the kind of artists that influenced me at that time. Right now, it's artists like Ginga. He's a Brazilian composer and songwriter. There's Chico Pinheiro. Of course, so it's more towards the Brazilian side of things. It's more to do with the nylon string guitar. Yeah, but in the past, I've drawn a lot of inspiration from, of course, John Mayer, Steve Vai, Guthrie Govan, the guitar virtuosos. I had a phase where I would love to play and try to attempt to play that kind of music. And also B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, more songwriters also like
Hendrix?
Nora Jones. Hendrix, yes.
Henrik?
And Nora Jones is, of course, very removed from the rest of those blues and guitar greats, but she's, an amazing composer as well.
Yeah.
So as a guitar player, have you had like different phases? Like for example, were you attracted to say the electric guitar at one stage, and then was there an acoustic phase? Because from what we understand, I think right now is your acoustic like discovery and phase, right? So has there been an electric phase, and like tell us about both those phases?
Yeah, 100%. When I started out, I started with the acoustic guitar because acoustic guitar is generally people talk about acoustic guitar as a beginner guitar and then you upgrade to an electric guitar. That's how I started. But after about a year, I switched to the electric guitar and I pretty much stuck with that for the next 10 years. I really, really love playing the electric guitar. Of course, I still play the electric guitar in the different sessions in the bands that I play in. Then I picked up the nylon string guitar about 3 years ago.
Ah, okay. So it hasn't been too long. But you also said that you had a metal phase.
Yeah, I had a metal phase for sure.
So what were the bands that you were listening to during your metal phase?
I was listening to Pantera, Periphery, a little bit of Meshuggah, of course.
Nice. Sorry. Carry on. And and how has that shaped your style of music in any particular way?
It's difficult to describe because there's been such a big contrast from metal to my current interests. But of course, it really honed in my technique because it's a very demanding genre to play on the guitar. So it really honed in my technique, and I can see how that benefits me in some of the solo guitar repertoire that I play and in other genres.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Solos where metal shines, really.
Solos and some of the lyrics in those songs are also very brilliant.
Very powerful stuff. Very true. And that's what I love about metal music as well. As far as I'm concerned, whole package. And then you have bands like Opeth where you have a lot of crossover between more acoustic styles and a lot of very intricate finger playing, and contrasting that with a lot of their heavier music, which is of course which is something that has always fascinated me about Opeth. But that's nice. But it's over now, right? Your metal phase.
I don't know if it's ever really over.
It's never really over.
It's a part of me now, of course. So I keep going back to some of those songs. I love that music still, of course.
Ah, lovely.
Every time the finance minister increases the rate of petrol, sometimes the metal phase comes back.
Yeah, we need to channel that. Of course.
Yes, and corrupt politicians of any shape or form.
Yes.
We shall not mention any names of
We shall
any sort.
we shall not mention any names.
We just started out, man. We can't afford to be shut down so quickly.
So Pranay, tell us. So you have had musical education at what all places? One, and two, for someone aspiring to take up the instrument, how important is formal education, structured formal education in the country, and your perspective also of education abroad? Because a lot of people believe that in order to learn and master Western music, they need to go to the West. So tell us your thoughts on that.
Could you repeat the first question?
Yeah, the first question was, where all did you have your musical education?
So I've always had, for the majority of my time playing the instrument, I've always had some mentor or some place where I'm learning. So initially it was private instructors who would come home and teach me. Then in 2015, when I shifted to Delhi, I started taking lessons from Sonam Sherpa sir at Parikrama School of Music. So I learned under him for 5 years, and he was an amazing, amazing mentor. And after that, I learned by myself for 1 to 2 years. And then in around 2021, I went to GMI. There, I did an artist diploma course for about 1.5 years. So that was more of a formal music education, where I also learned about a little bit about production, some business, and but it was a performance-centric course. And during my time under Sonam sir, I also did my grades from Trinity.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate.
So, like, do you feel that, education is important for someone picking up the instrument, and also education of Western music in India versus abroad?
I think in the beginning, what's more important than formal education is having a solid mentor, because especially during your initial few years of picking up an instrument, your only responsibility is to fall in love with the instrument, and there needs to be a mentor or an inspiring figure that can help you fall in love with an instrument, make you want to pick up the guitar or whatever instrument it is. Formal education fills in a lot of those gaps later on, and I see the benefit in that. The music education in India is catching up. Of course, there are a lot more options abroad, but I'm a little bit on the edge with that, because I don't know if it's worth paying such huge amounts of money to, take an education in music, like specifically the arts and music. Like I don't know if it adds up. If you can manage to get a full ride somewhere, then sure. At the end of the day, you have to make it on your own. No one really looks at your degree in music.
It's a how well you play, really, at the end of the day. I personally, I'm a self-taught musician because I just get bored of doing scales and stuff like that. I tried learning the guitar under a teacher, but it never really worked out for me. And what do you have to say for, to self-taught musicians? Should they actually consider doing a course?
I think more important is to find a teacher. Of course, there are a lot of resources online on YouTube. You can literally find everything there is to learn about music online. Every single thing, everything you would learn at the highest degrees in music, like you find that online. But I think it's very difficult to cut through the rubble and find. It can be a little bit chaotic to try and do that all on your own. The purpose of a teacher is to first inspire, and then to help them is to help guide with what to do at what stage, because a teacher would give you the material that's just challenging enough where you want to do it, but it's challenging, and then it's going to help you grow.
I feel a good teacher doesn't just know the instrument and music, but he also knows you
Yeah.
as a student, and he can give you exactly what will work for you at that time. I think that's what a good teacher is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Ashish has been teaching me how to sing. And
Yeah.
self-promotion. This is not self-promotion. I'm promoting you.
Yeah,
It's okay. So, and one of the things that I have ADHD, so I'm like, I get very bored very easily when it comes to, just exercises and stuff like that. But one thing Ashish did is like very understandingly kind of, went with it. Just understood where my hiccups were, what my inhibitions were, worked those out first until I actually learned the value of exercises myself, and then kind of progressed like that. I would imagine that, the best teachers would definitely do that. Like when I was in GMI, I did a very short vocal course. And I also had a Brazilian teacher. And she also kind of started from the point of what are the songs you want to sing? What is the kind of music you like? Let's start from there and develop the higher, the technical things as we go through those bits. And therefore you can learn the value of the technicalities while also doing the music that you love,
Yeah.
which I think is a fantastic thing. And to have, and I'm not promoting GMI, but I think it's a really good place because they get so many teachers from abroad to come in and actually give their knowledge to Indian students. So you don't need to go anywhere else, to be honest, because during that period of time, I had my vocal teacher was Brazilian, and our theory teacher was from Austria, and she's been playing in orchestras and stuff like that. So there's really no one better to learn such things from. Absolutely fantastic. Would you endorse GMI?
Yeah, I had a good time at GMI for sure.
Yeah. Someday maybe I'll go back and do a full-fledged course.
So Aditya and Tarun, I know from like almost 15, 20 years back. Like I met them first at Artists Unlimited.
Mhm.
And they've been very, very thorough and professional musicians is how I know them. And I'm so happy to see them do run such a great place. And I only hear great things about them all the time. I think Aditya was making a lot of music as well. And so was Tarun. I don't know how much music they're making, but I think they should continue making the music besides running the fantastic music school.
Yeah, they've got a huge building in Greater Noida now. Really nice campus. Gotta go back there.
Yes, sometime.
I'm on their mailing list.
We should go there together and interview both the brothers.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We should get them over here. Or we should go there, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those things.
One of those things, whichever they're willing to do. Anyway, coming back to you. Sorry.
And also coming back to the music, I think it's time for another little song. So what's the second song today going to be, Pranay?
I'll actually play a pop song for you. It's a rendition of September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
So is it also like fingerstyle and
Yeah, I'll play it in
all the
a
fancy stuff?
fingerstyle
The
way.
fancy stuff. Yeah. Let's
All
go
right,
for it.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Check it out. Hey, we're back after that wonderful rendition of September by Earth, Wind and Fire with Pranay. So I was wondering, other than playing your acoustic and all the Brazilian folk and Brazilian music, essentially, you said that you also played with your electric guitar, etc., etc. So Do you have any favorite? What is the guitar that you play usually?
I have an Ibanez Iron Label guitar.
Iron label. Ah, nice. And do you have any? What is your pedal chain look like?
I go through my quad cortex, so that's my
Oh,
main
nice.
my main rig, and then I sometimes connect it to a laptop where I could where I run some synths through the through my quad cortex. So I have one on Archetype Rabia, which is really nice.
Oh yes, the Archetype
So-
Rabia is very very good. And I've got a quad cortex too. Actually, I put my bass through that.
Okay.
Very cool. So, have you tried analog pedals and stuff like that? What's your opinion on like between like a full processor versus
Because people are
analog
either like,
pedals?
they're all right with digital multi-effects, they don't care. Or they're like very anal in particular about, oh no, it's everything's got to be analog.
and I need to have a tube amp
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. I actually grew up at a time where we had the best options in multi effects and also analog. So I never really saw a difference, a very convincing difference in the tone. And more importantly, I've just always, from the beginning, I've always used multi effects processor. So I'm used to that tone. People who usually play mostly through analog gear, they often say that there's something about the touch and the response of the amp which they cannot really compromise on with the multi-effects processors. But since I'm so used to the multi-effects, I don't really see that big of a difference. And then when you add to that the convenience of just being able to carry this little gadget in your bag and you take it anywhere and you have that reliability and consistency, it really beats the that compromise with the tone.
All you guys who thought he's going to give like a huge list of analog pedals that he uses.
Too bad. Buddy.
Sorry, guys.
But have you tried the other multi-effects pedals like the Helix or Fractal? What's it? Fractal?
Fractal, yeah.
I've played through a Fractal before in a studio setting. That also sounds amazing. Before this, I used to use a Line 6 Pod Go
nice.
before the quad cortex, and the one I started with was this small Zoom GX1.
Oh my god!
The grey color one.
I have had the predecessor, like the ancestor of that one. That was my first guitar processor. Just the two pedals and a whammy, right?
Yeah, but that one was without the memory, just small little lunchbox.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah.
I like those.
But the
So
only,
is there any gear that you've been obsessed? Like, there's always that one gear that we want, but we can't afford. It's too
Is there
expensive.
anything?
So is there anything that is like your dream gear, like your dream rig?
Or your dream guitar?
Yeah.
I think I'm at a place where with my processor, I'm very, very happy. And I think that this is going to last me a very long time. With the guitar, I would love to experiment and get one sort of a Jaguar style P90 guitar. There's this company, Novo Guitars, which makes these brilliant vintage style looking guitars with those relics. But the build quality is very, very... It's very, very fine build quality. I would love to try one of
Where do you
those.
find one of those?
They have their factory in the US, in the States. I think in California. But
It's gonna be a while before one can get your hands on
actually,
that.
I think I made a mistake. I think it's not California.
Could be something else.
Nashville.
Nashville,
Tennessee.
Yeah.
the place where country music is really the birthplace. Is it the birthplace? I don't know if it's the birthplace. It's definitely one of the places.
It's one of those places where
Nashville, Tennessee.
came about.
Nashville, Tennessee. I think Winston would love that.
Winston would love that.
And but okay, so that's your dream guitar. I actually, would you actually go into like a 7-string electric so you can do a mashup? Not a mashup. I think mashup sounds awful. It sounds like it's a really horrible word. But like do a blend of Portuguese music with all your electrical fanciness coming out through the quad cortex. Have you thought of that?
At some point, sure, that will be really amazing because the 7-string doesn't only give me access to some of the traditional Brazilian music, but I also love being able to use this in more pop settings, so in duo settings or trio settings where I can sort of sneak in my classical guitar. I love playing and experimenting with the 7-string, so it would be very nice to have a 7-string electric at some point where I'm able to use that same vocabulary, but in different contexts.
I would love to listen to that, man. For sure.
That's great. Could you tell us a little bit about? You were saying that there is certain type of music that you play for yourself, and I also gather that you are into songwriting, and you like to compose songs. So, what is the process, and how important are lyrics for you while you're structuring or composing your music?
So at the moment, I'm not actively writing.
Right.
I actually find that at this point, I'm a little bit too self-critical of my own songwriting process for my own good. Like
We all have a problem like that. At least I do. I know what you mean.
yeah. So I wrote some songs about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I was really just in my room, not playing professionally, just writing for the love of writing. And there was a certain, like, I was naive, but in a kind of good way, where I wasn't too judgmental of what was coming out. It was not for someone else. It was just for me and for my music.
So, do you have any plans of going back to those songs and maybe working on them or maybe releasing them sometime?
Yeah, I have set a goal for myself to put out an album of all original music within the next 5 years. So I would like to get back into that process of songwriting and make it a habit again, because it's really fallen out of habit. I would write small snippets here and there, but I want to again get back to working on my ability to connect ideas together, which sort of develops as when you make it a habit.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to that. Do let us know when that comes out. And of course, we are sitting in a recording studio right now.
So, anytime you want to come and record, you know where to go.
You know where to come. You're always welcome.
So, Pranay, what are the coming months like? As we know that November, December, January are usually very hectic, like the most hectic months for session players and musicians and bands. Like, I'm already getting calls for the next month, and I'm like, ugh. So, what are your plans, man?
Yeah, I mean November, December, January, like they are all. It's like the peak wedding season. So hopefully I'll get to play in more sessions for the wedding season. Just try and cash in that sense. But I have this tour coming up in the end of October. That's in the US. So that's my first international tour. So I'm quite excited for that. Other than that, I keep attending these programs by WIP. I would like to mention WIP Labs because they're really doing some really incredible work, doing projects like more critical arts stuff that you would not typically see in the Delhi scene, combining music with poetry, puppetry, dance,
Wow.
and very, very interesting stuff.
So where can one find these guys?
And what does WIP stand for?
Work in progress.
Oh, just actually the work
Yeah,
in progress.
work in progress labs.
So do they have a website or something where we can check them out?
Yeah, you can check. I think it's just wiplabs.com.
WIP Labs.
Labs.com.
So, they have live events.
Yeah, they
What
curate,
exactly do they do?
They curate live events. They also curate festivals. So they did, in the last couple of years, they did alt festivals in Bangalore and Delhi. And they were very, very successful. It was very large scale events. I just love attending as many events as I can, participating in some of their residencies. So I think every musician should check them out.
So in terms of the festivals that you're mentioning, these are film, theater, music, art,
Everything.
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 It's fantastic.
And where can one find your tour dates, especially for the US? If there are any listeners listening from the US, where can we find your tour dates? What are the cities you're going to be hitting up?
As of now, we are going to be playing in. So you can check out the more details at Jasmine Sandler's website. So I'm touring as a session guitarist for her.
Jasmine Sandler's.
Yes.
I see. Okay, sure. Thanks for that. And what are your social media handles?
Pranay_guitarist for my Instagram, and that's probably the only place where I'm sort of active.
All right, that's cool. Thanks. Everybody go follow him. Pranay_guitarist on Instagram.
So, Pranay, what's the next song that you're going to perform for us?
I think I'll play a Hindi song. It's a rendition of the song "Tu Tu Hai Wahi."
Lovely.
Fantastic.
All right, let's check it out. All right, guys, welcome back after that song. And Pranay, thank you so much for being with us, man. This has been an absolutely fantastic conversation. And thanks for sharing everything that you have with us, especially about Brazilian music, about and performing for us, and etc. This has been absolutely enlightening, actually.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And any parting words for all your fans and people who would like to connect with you and maybe take you as a session player in their band?
Well, I would never deny more work. But yeah, just connect for sure. Reach out. I would love to have a chat.
And,
And
any
yeah.
aspiring guitarists who are just getting into the thing, who just
Any young
picked up a guitar.
kids, like looking up to your work and admiring you right now? Any advice for them?
I mean, just don't stop playing. It gets more and more rewarding the longer you go into it. Do it for the love of it and try to find a good teacher, someone that you can look up to and learn from.
Who will make you love the instrument first and foremost, as you said earlier.
And give you bite-sized chunks of information and knowledge.
Absolutely. And follow your path. But thank you. Thank you so much. That's good advice.
Thank you.
And on that note, we've come to the end of yet another episode of Talktopia Sessions, the place where you discover new artists, great music, and inspiring people.
And if you liked this interview and if you want to see more like it, then do like it, subscribe. Subscribe to us on either the platform you're listening to the podcast on or on YouTube, and do support us in any other way that you can. Until next time, keep rocking.